Well, hey there, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday afternoon / evening. I'm on my way to work currently. Last week of work for a couple of weeks. Have a couple of weeks off after this upcoming Thursday. But I thought while I'm on the way to work, I had a couple of people because I've done a couple of videos where I talked about, how the Dallas Cowboys here in the U.S. and the Toronto Maple Leafs are basically, if you think about it, one and the same when it comes to, success, kind of. Great regular seasons, horrible postseasons. And somebody had asked, well, how can you make that, that parallel between the two teams? Do it like this. Here in the U.S., especially if you're up in Canada, you might not know, when you're here in the U.S., if you're watching anything sports related down here, especially, even if it's during the off season, you see stuff about the NFL. But it's not just the NFL. Who is it that they're talking about? What's the team that they're talking about? It's always the Dallas Cowboys. They always talk about the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys always do something here in the media to keep themselves in the news. And almost every time, especially during football season, when ESPN First Take comes on during football season, almost every single day, their show leads off with something Dallas Cowboy related. Whether it's, Dak Prescott having bad games or like the drama that goes on, CeeDee Lamb's mama taking, going and saying, my son deserves better, this, that, and the other. Dak Prescott's brother going and saying, if it were up to me, I'd get him out of Dallas, all this stuff, all the drama that goes on with the Dallas Cowboys. Well, even though I don't live in Canada, but I've seen enough stuff like on TSN, Sportsnet, breakfast television. What do they talk about up there? It's always the Toronto Maple Leafs. They might mention something about the Edmonton Oilers or the Vancouver Canucks, maybe Montreal. They don't really mention Ottawa unless it's something bad. It's really the only time they ever mention Ottawa is if there's something bad going on with the Ottawa Senators. But it's always about Toronto. And it's insane. It's the parallels are obvious. They have great regular seasons. They have a lot of high-priced talent, a lot of good talent on that Leafs team. A lot. 4 guys are making up about half of their salary cap, especially with this next season. It's a lot of money that these guys are making. The offense is not there, just like in the playoffs with the Dallas Cowboys. The points are not there. They're paying these guys multi-millions of dollars, and what are they getting out of it? They're not getting anything out of it. They're getting bounced in the first round. The Dallas Cowboys have not been to a conference championship game since 1995. The last time the Toronto Maple Leafs were past the second round, which would be the conference finals, was, I believe, 1994. The Leafs, since 2004, have gotten out of the first round one time, and that was last season. Where then what happened when they finally get into the second round? They're all going crazy. Yay, we finally got out of the first round. And then what happens? They literally get their doors blown off by the Florida Panthers. And the parallels between the two teams are clearly there. The media coverage that both teams get. I mean, the Leafs obviously don't get a lot of coverage here because, it's the United States, where the Dallas Cowboys probably don't get a whole lot of media coverage up north of the border. But if you look at how the media covers both teams, it's the same. It's really the same because they have rabid fan bases. The Dallas Cowboys, I honestly don't know why they always, the media and sports media all go and say, the Dallas Cowboys, they're the most popular team in the NFL. Why? Why would you? Why? I don't understand. I'm not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I cannot stand the Dallas Cowboys. I relish listening to Stephen A. Smith every time he can criticize and just, slap the Dallas Cowboys, and how he talks about how the Dallas Cowboy fans are just the most rotten bunch of fans because they always, no matter what, they always, every time they lose, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? We're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? Every year. I see it. I've seen it. And they're delusional. Dallas Cowboy fans are delusional. Now, I don't think Toronto Maple Leaf fans are like that. They're not that far gone. You don't see Toronto Maple Leaf fans every time they get knocked out in the first round. They don't come back the next year and say, we're going to win the Stanley Cup this year, right? Next year we're going to win the Stanley Cup. You don't see that. So they're not as far as the fans are concerned, Maple Leaf fans are nowhere near as delusional as Dallas Cowboy fans. But it's the team. It is the team. The team itself. They always, when the expectations are high, they always let the fans down. And all you got to do, look up Stephen A. Smith accident waiting to happen, and you will find the music video of Stephen A. Smith and the little mix video of him talking about the Cowboys and just what they do, And if you could remix that video, instead of Stephen A. Smith, going, a mediocre team in Big D, or in this case, a mediocre team in Big T. And he talks, how about them Cowboys, or in this case, how about them Maple Leafs? Some way, somehow, when it counts, just wait, they will let you down. That's what the Cowboys do to their fans. That's what the Maple Leafs do to their fans. All this talent. Just like the Dallas Cowboys, they always come up short. Toronto Maple Leafs, all this talent, and they always come up short. They can't score. These guys are making anywhere from $11 to almost $14 million per season for what? 3 points, 4 points in 7 games for some of these guys? A series where, or even go back the last couple of years, they've scored more than 3 goals. They've scored at least 3 goals once. They've scored 2 or less 13 of 14 games. The parallel is there. And like I said, I have a good number of friends who are diehard Maple Leaf fans. I mean, they bleed this team. in Toronto. They love this team in Toronto. And, and I see how frustrated they get. I get frustrated with them. I mean, they have not won, people talk about the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995. That was also the last time they made a conference championship game. The Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a Super Bowl. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a Super Bowl. Just like the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Stanley Cup. The Toronto Maple Leafs have not won the Stanley Cup since 1967. 10 years before I was born. That's how far back this goes with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. The fans have got to be frustrated. The fans, and they keep wondering, are you really going to just run this thing back? They've been talking about that with the Dallas Cowboys this whole offseason too. Are the Dallas Cowboys going to run it back, this next season like they have been the last couple of years? Answer, yes. Yes, they are. Should they? Probably not. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs run it back? I don't know. Is Tavares going to be there come next season? Is Marner? Matthews and Nylander are going to be. I don't know about the other two. What do you do? If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, tell me in the comments. Let me know in the comments. What do they do? What do they do to change their fortune? What do they do to change their fortune? Do they have to fire the head coach? Do they have to just do an entire house cleaning and be trading players? And what do they do? If you're a Maple Leafs fan and you live and die by this team, what do you do? What do you think the Maple Leafs have to do to get this team at least out of the first round more than once in over 20 years? I don't know. But the parallels are there because the media coverage is basically identical between the two teams. Both teams have insanely high-priced talent. Good talent, too. Good players. Really good players. Postseason results, they're the same. Great regular season teams. Postseason, same thing. Always. Let me know though. If you are a diehard Leafs fan, let me know in the comments. What do they have to do? What do you think they will do? Will they do a complete house cleaning? Or is it just going to be, we're just going to run it back again? I'd love to know, though, what you guys think. And, I hate to say it, but when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and the Toronto Maple Leafs, as Stephen A. Smith says, be patient. Just wait. Some way, somehow, when it counts, they will let you down. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will see you guys later.